Ron Howard's life, from the outside, looks like a dazzling story of success. An Oscar-winning director, one of the most respected names in Hollywood. But behind the camera, when the lights go out, this man too has had to endure one devastating personal loss after another. The death of his mother, the breaking point of 2000. In the year 2000, Ron Howard lost his mother, Jean Howard. This was not just the loss of a mother, it was the moment the foundation of his life began to shake. Jean was Ron's first source of strength, his first critic, and his greatest supporter. From his early days as a child actor to the risky decisions he made as a director, her presence was constant and unwavering. When that presence suddenly disappeared, Ron was emotionally shattered. Even while standing on set, he felt empty and profoundly alone. Many say he entered a deep, silent grief during this time, one that wasn't visible from the outside, but quietly changed him forever from within. A brother's addiction, a blood bond in the darkness. Another long-lasting pain in Ron Howard's life revolved around his brother, Clint Howard. The fight to pull his brother back from the dark world of addiction became one of the most painful chapters of Ron's life. This wasn't a movie script, this was real life, where every day carried the fear of losing someone forever. As a brother, helplessness, responsibility, and guilt overwhelmed him all at once. He knew that love alone could not fix everything, and yet he kept fighting, because no matter how dark it gets, blood relationships cannot simply be abandoned. Losing a friend, the sudden emptiness of 2023. In 2023, Ron Howard lost his close friend and longtime collaborator, Cindy Williams. Her death was sudden and unanticipated, and that made the pain even deeper. Cindy was not just a colleague, she was someone with whom Ron shared countless memories, laughter outside of work, long conversations, friendship. Everything came to a halt in a single moment. This loss reminded him once again that no matter how high you stand in success, human beings are ultimately fragile and powerless. Ron Howard, born in 1954, did not have a childhood like most other children. At an age when kids are running around, playing in fields, and making friends, Ron was surrounded by studio lights, cold camera lenses, and the call of action. He entered the world of acting at just 18 months old. It sounds unbelievable. A child who hadn't even learned to speak properly was already working with adult-level responsibility. And the cost was severe. Ron never experienced a regular school life. He never had carefree afternoons or endless laughter with friends. While other children fought over toys, Ron was learning how to memorize lines and remain composed in front of the camera. At such a young age, he learned painful lessons, that emotions must be hidden, exhaustion must not be shown, and loneliness must be silently endured. From the outside, everyone saw a lucky child star, but inside, Ron Howard was growing up alone, without friends, without a childhood, slowly adapting to a quiet and unforgiving reality. Perhaps this loneliness later taught him to understand people so deeply, and that may be why the stories he tells as a director feel so human, so full of pain. Light surrounded him everywhere, but his childhood was strangely dark. In 1960, playing the role of little Opie Taylor on The Andy Griffith Show, Ron Howard became America's son. On television screens, he appeared innocent, pure, and full of warmth, a child millions of families felt belonged to them. Every evening, his face appeared in homes across the country. He became a symbol of laughter, emotion, and family togetherness. But behind that popularity was a very different reality. Off-screen, Ron Howard's life was far from warm. At school, he was different, the TV kid. Classmates didn't see him as a friend, they saw him as something to mock. Some mimicked his dialogue, others deliberately tried to belittle him. This constant ridicule, whispering, and mockery slowly pushed him inward. On one side, he was the nation's beloved child. On the other, he walked alone through school hallways, no one holding his hand, no one wanting to sit beside him. This dual life forced Ron Howard to grow up far too early. He learned that fame does not mean love, and popularity does not end loneliness. Perhaps these experiences later shaped his sensitive eye as a storyteller, because he knew firsthand how much pain can hide behind a smile. Light surrounded him everywhere, but his childhood was strangely dark. By then, Ron Howard was already successful as an actor. He was famous, his face was recognizable. Television and film were under his control. But deep inside, he knew this light did not belong to him. Ron's true passion was not in front of the camera, it was behind it. Growing up on film sets, he had watched how a scene is born, how silence can speak louder than dialogue. Acting gave him recognition, but directing became his true language. In 1982, he made his directorial debut with Night Shift. Many dismissed it as another former child star's whim, but Ron Howard proved it wasn't a hobby, it was the result of preparation. Then came Splash in 1984. The film was not just a box office success, it announced to Hollywood that Ron Howard was here to stay. But his true power revealed itself later. With Apollo 13, he showed how humans cling to hope even in the face of failure. And with A Beautiful Mind, he proved that battles inside the human mind can shake hearts on the big screen. These films didn't just make him a successful director, they earned him worldwide fame, respect, and a permanent place in history. Perhaps childhood loneliness, the emptiness hidden inside fame, all of it taught Ron Howard one truth: stories must be told with the heart. Standing in the light, he never truly found himself, but in the shadows, behind the camera, he finally did. In 2026, at 71 years old, Ron Howard stands at a place in life where there is nothing left to prove. After more than 50 years of work, countless stories, and countless sleepless battles, his estimated net worth stands at around $200 million. But that number no longer defines who he is. Today, Ron Howard lives a calm, balanced life. He spends his time with his wife, Cheryl Howard, and their 4 children, to whom he is not a star, but simply a father and a husband. This family became his greatest success, because the man who once tasted loneliness in childhood eventually built a safe world of his own. He hasn't completely stepped away from work, but now the purpose of his work has changed. Through various charitable efforts, he gives back the love he once spent his life searching for. Beyond fame, awards, and wealth, Ron Howard has finally understood one truth: the greatest success in life is being able to live in peace.